I wanted to follow up on some concerns that you had raised about safety. And I think that when questioned by defense counsel, you indicated that you weren't as concerned about your own personal safety here in the courtroom. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
But in your questionnaire, I think what your answer in the question of would you want to serve as a juror in this case, you said that you were not sure. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell us why you weren't sure?
It's more from a safety security standpoint. As far as I'm concerned, I feel comfortable and safe, but I just wouldn't want any, any issues or harm to come to my wife or my family.
Yeah. I think you expressed in your questionnaire you are married, you enjoy spending time with your children, and you also have some grandchildren. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. And it was the concern not for yourself, but for the safety of those family members that you had some hesitation about serving as a juror here.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it's a situation if individuals would end up knowing who I am or where I live or my family lives. There could be individuals that could cause harm or maybe some destruction to property, something like that. So I would have those are the issues or concerns that I would have.
And you say concerns to your family, and I think I understand that. When you say potential destruction of property, can you explain that a little bit more, please?
Well, it would be, if certain individuals that were out to intimidate or cause harm, if they knew where I lived, it's potential they could, do damage to the house or spray paint the house or garage door or break a window or something like that from an intimidation or to create fear or something to that effect.
Okay. And you had indicated those concerns were something that would cause you to not be sure if you wanted to serve as a juror on this case. Can you explain how that would relate to jury service?
Well, if I wasn't on the jury, I wouldn't have those concerns. Obviously, this is an important case, and there's a lot of emotions tied up in it. And again, if I was a prospective or if I was a juror on the case, I would have, I would be looking forward or thinking about what some of the ramifications could be, especially if the identity was known.
And could you talk about what could be done to alleviate those concerns, if anything?
Well, the biggest thing is just staying anonymous or not having my identity known, and I think that would be the biggest one.
You indicated that your belief that this is an important case.
Yes, that's correct.
And would you agree that it's fair for both sides to expect that as the case proceeded, it would be able to receive 100% of your attention with no distractions?
Yes.
And that you would have to concentrate and pay attention to what is happening here in the courtroom 100% of the time. How difficult would it be for you to do that, given the concerns that you've expressed about safety and security with respect to your family and perhaps your property?
Well, as far as if I were to be involved in the case on the jury, I would definitely dedicate my time to the proceedings and what's going on. What happens when I go home or something like that, obviously I'm in a different mindset. And again, if there were some incidences at my house or to my wife or kids, that would, that would take up, obviously some of my thinking and my concerns. But as far as coming on a case, I would devote and dedicate my whole time on listening to the facts.
And so, are you able to, assure the court, the state, the defendant, that you would not be considering these safety concerns at the time you're seated and watching the evidence and paying attention? You would be able to completely put those out of your mind?
Yes.